Hello and welcome back to another episode of Scorebook Stories. I'm Alec. I'm your host. This is a dream come true. Baseball's amazing, and hopefully we can continue to share that love. And today we are going to be talking about who could become the next immortal name or names to go into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Now, a lot of controversy and conversation is always bounced around when it comes to who is going to end up being in the Hall of Fame, who's going to be a Hall of Famer. There's tons of other discussions that I plan to have with a number of people once they are going to join me here on the show. And we're going to talk about things like who in the league is a current active player that could be a first ballot Hall of Famer or just will end up being in the Hall of Fame at some point. There's a ton of discussions like that I have that I want to bring up, and I want to have those conversations with you, with anybody who absolutely loves the game of baseball. But because the Hall of Fame inductees for 2025 will be announced later this week, I figured we'd dive into the ballot a little bit, and I'll give you my opinion as to who I think is going in. The Baseball Writers Association of America, you can vote up to a max of 10 people onto the ballot. And those are the people who decide who is going to be a Baseball Hall of Famer, is Baseball Writers Association of America. Hopefully one day I'm able to be in it. I've always wanted to vote for the Hall of Fame. I just think it'd be something cool that I would get to do, but I'm not in it. Hopefully one day, but we'll see. Anyway, first on the list, because they put it up in alphabetical order, is Bobby Abreu, 18-year career, 1996 to 2014 for the Astros, Phillies, Yankees, Angels, Dodgers, and the Mets. He's a two-time All-Star, a Gold Glover, a Silver Slugger, Home Run Derby champ. His stats are pretty solid, and that's why I'm giving him my first vote. A lot of people may be shocked about that, but Bobby Abreu, I would vote for him for Hall of Fame. Do I think he's going to be in this year? No, I don't. I do not think Bobby Abreu is going to be in the Hall of Fame this year. But if I'm voting, I'm going to give one of my votes to Bobby Abreu. He had 8,480 at-bats, 2,470 hits, 288 home runs. He had a career average of 291. That's pretty good. Like, he was getting on base. He had 1,453 runs, 1,363 RBIs, and 400 stolen bases, which is honestly the most surprising stat. I didn't think Bobby Abreu was moving like that from first to second or second to third. How many of those were pass balls? I really don't know. I don't really care either, if I'm being completely honest. But I'm giving him my vote. I think he had a long, amazing career, and 18 years to go 291. That's pretty solid. If I'm being honest, that's pretty darn good. Next on the list is Carlos Beltran, outfielder, 20-year career, 1998 to 2017. Played with the Royals, Astros, Mets, Giants, Cardinals, Yankees, and the Rangers. He was the 1999 Rookie of the Year, 9-time All-Star, 2017 World Series champion, 3-time Gold Glover, 2-time Silver Slugger, and the Roberto Clemente Award winner. Pretty good career here. He had 9,768 at bats, 2,725 hits, 435 home runs, a career average of 279, 1,582 runs, 1,587 RBIs, 312 stolen bases. I don't give Carlos Beltran my vote. I don't know why. It's just I thought there were 9 other people better, but there is a debate. So I have 11 votes that I gave out. I can only give out 10, so I don't really know who my 10th pick is going to be. But I'm not voting for Carlos Beltran just yet, but I do think he will be in the Hall of Fame at some point. I think Carlos Beltran is a Hall of Famer without a doubt. I don't think it's going to be this year. Next is Mark Burrell, 16-year career. He was a pitcher, 2000 to 2015. That's a pretty long career for a pitcher. He played for the White Sox. I don't know why I said it like that. The White Sox, the Marlins, the Blue Jays as well. 5-time All-Star, 2005 World Series champ, 4-time Gold Glover, 518 games 493 games started, 214 wins, 160 losses with a career ERA of 3.81. That is a darn good pitcher. I don't know why, but I don't think a lot of people put the value on pitchers that they deserve. And I'm not going to start doing it. I did vote for some pitchers. There's a couple pitchers on my list. Don't worry. I'm going to get to them. But either way, Mark Burrell not getting my vote this year. Will he be a Hall of Famer? I don't know. Next up on my list is Carlos Gonzalez, outfielder, 12-year career, 2008 to 2019 for the A's, Rockies, Guardians, or Cleveland. I believe they were the Indians at the time, and the Cubs. Carlos Gonzalez was a 3-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glover, 2-time Silver Slugger, 2010 batting title champ, 5,033 at-bats, 1,432 hits, 234 home runs, a career average of 285, 821 runs, 785 RBIs, and 122 stolen bases. I'm not giving Carlos Gonzalez my vote either. Is he a Hall of Famer? I don't know. This guy might be a borderline guy. Carlos Gonzalez was a solid player, really good defender in my opinion, but I don't know if he has the numbers offensively to get him over the hump. A 285 batting average is a high average, but everybody pretty much has a really high average going into the Hall of Fame. Is 285 enough? Probably. His hits, not even 1,500, maybe. Under 1,000 runs, under 1,000 RBIs, under 200 stolen bases. Only a 3-time All-Star over a 12-year career. I just don't know. Baseball writers seem to be very moody and indecisive with what it takes to be a Hall of Famer. And if I'm being honest, everybody should be in the Hall of Fame. Anybody who's up on the ballot and receiving a nomination probably has some case to be made to be put into the Hall of Fame. So just because I wouldn't vote for a guy doesn't mean that you wouldn't vote for a guy. You may think that he deserves to be in it. You may think he's a first ballot kind of guy, and that's okay. Until I become a baseball writer, this is just my overall general opinion and who I would vote for should I ever get the opportunity. Next up on the list is Curtis Granderson, outfielder, 16-year career, 2004 to 2019. Played for the Tigers, Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, Blue Jays, Brewers, and the Marlins. Man, he bounced around a lot more than I thought he did. I really thought he was like a 3-team guy, but I guess not. Anyway, he had 7,236 at-bats, 1,800 hits, 344 home runs, a career average of 249, 1,217 runs, 937 RBIs, 153 stolen bases. I love Curtis Granderson. He was one of my favorite Yankee outfielders of all time. Love him. He is great. Growing up watching him play, I loved it. I was not good enough to play the outfield, so he wasn't like one of my top favorite players. I was a Jorge Posada fan, 100%. Loved him. I was a catcher growing up, but either way, I'm not giving Curtis Granderson the vote here. This guy, I genuinely don't think he has the batting average to get himself over the hump and in, with his other numbers being a little bit under, depending on or comparing him with a number of other Hall of Famers. I'm not giving Curtis Granderson the vote here. I would love to. Love Curtis Granderson. I'm sure he's a wonderful person, but I don't think his numbers are enough compared to the other people that I voted for going through this list. Next up is my second vote for the Hall of Fame, and that's Felix Hernandez, pitcher, 15-year career. He was absolutely dominant pitcher. 15-year career, 2005 to 2019, all with the Seattle Mariners. 2010 Cy Young Award winner. I believe he should have won more than that. He's a 6-time All-Star, 2-time ERA title winner. 419 games played, 418 starts, 169 wins, 136 losses, and a career ERA of 3.42. I was mesmerized watching him and another person on this list pitch. They were unbelievable. And it seemed like on any given day, they were going to go a complete nine. And it was absolutely the most impressive thing I've ever watched. There's a couple guys in the league like that right now that are just every time they're on the bump, it is just unbelievable to watch. It is so impressive. And I can't wait for their turn in the rotation every single time. And Felix Hernandez is one of those guys that I could not wait for his turn in the rotation. So he has my second vote. Next up is Torrey Hunter, outfielder, 19-year career. 1997 to 2015, played for the Twins, Angels, and the Tigers. 5-time All-Star, 9-time Gold Glover, 2-time Silver Slugger. Career at bats 8,857, 2,452 hits, 353 home runs, a career average of 277 runs over his career, 1,296, a 1,391 RBIs, and 195 stolen bases. I also thought Torrey Hunter had a lot more stolen bases than that. I really did. He could move. I thought he was pretty quick. I remember watching Torrey Hunter play for the Twins a little bit and the Angels a lot more. And Torrey Hunter was solid. Great all-around player, solid defensively, obviously, by the 9 Gold Gloves. Pretty good at bat as well. Again, with 2 Silver Sluggers. Can't really argue his awards. I'm not giving him a vote this year, but I definitely think he is a future Hall of Famer. Next up is a guy who I solely and entirely believed, just based on my memories of him, played his entire career in Baltimore, which was not the case. And that is Adam Jones. 14-year career, 2006 to 2019 for Seattle, Baltimore, and Arizona. 5-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, 7,000 plus at bats, almost 2,000 hits, 1,939, 282 home runs, career average of 277, 963 runs, 945 RBIs, and 97 stolen bases. He almost got the vote for me strictly because of his play in the World Baseball Classic when he robbed a home run. Like that play alone almost got Adam Jones a vote from me. But I don't think he's going to get in this year. I'm going to leave him for one more year, depending on who some of the first ballot guys are next year. I think Torrey Hunter will end up getting a vote from me, or not Torrey Hunter, excuse me. Adam Jones will end up getting a vote from me next year. Now, we get into my first iffy guy. Originally, I gave him a vote. If you happen to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, I put up, and on X, I put up a post with MLB's ballot, and I checked off who I voted for. And one of the guys I voted for was Andrew Jones, 17-year career, 1996 to 2012 for the Braves, Dodgers, Rangers, White Sox, and the Yankees. 5-time All-Star, 10-time Gold Glover, a Silver Slugger, 7,599 at bats, almost 2,000 hits again, 434 home runs, a career average of 254, 1,204 runs, 1,289 RBIs, 152 stolen bases. I gave him a vote first. I really did. I thought he was great, but I'm not sold on him for another guy that we're going to talk about a little bit later. But Andrew Jones was just absolutely incredible. Great ball player, unbelievable defensive player. By the 10 Gold Gloves, you can tell that he only missed a Gold Glove 7 years out of his 17-year career. That is impressive. No matter what your standards are for the Hall of Fame, defensively, Andrew Jones was solid. He was a great outfielder that had range and a good arm as well. At the plate, probably could have done a little bit better, but it is what it is, honestly. Baseball is a game of failure. If you succeed 3 out of 10 times, you're in the Hall of Fame without a doubt. 300 career average, you're a Hall of Famer, hands down. That's That's just the way baseball goes, and that's why I love it so much. Next up is a guy who I also really enjoyed watching play, and that was Ian Kinsler, second baseman, 14-year career, 2006 to 2019. Played for the Rangers, Tigers, Angels, Red Sox, and the Padres. I remember him mostly on the Rangers. He's a four-time All-Star, 2018 World Series champion, two-time Gold Glover, 7,423 at-bats. He is one hit shy of 2,000. And if I was Ian Kinsler, I'm not retiring until I get that one hit. And that 2,000th hit, that is the game I will retire. I will call for a pinch runner after I get that 2,000th hit. Take me out. I will see you all later. It's been a wonderful career. There is no shot. There's no shot. I would not try to get back on the field. If I ended up being forced to retire due to injury, there is no chance that I'm not doing everything I can to get back onto the field for one more hit. I'd do it. Ian Kinsler also ended up with 257 home runs, a career average of 269. That one more hit might get him to 270. Don't know. 1,243 runs, 909 RBIs, and 243 stolen bases. I like Ian Kinsler. Great ball player. Definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame, just not this year. Don't miss out on anything going on in the sports world. Follow Seven Mountain Sports on X, Facebook, and Instagram for news from Seven Mountain Sports and clips from Sports Talk with Steve Jones, Scorebook stories, and so much more. Now, because I was a catcher, these next two guys kind of have a special place in my heart just because they are both catchers, and that is Russell Martin and Brian McCann. First off, Russell Martin, 14-year career, 2006 to 2019 for the Dodgers, Yankees, Pirates, and Blue Jays. I'm going to be real here. I don't remember Russell Martin playing for the Dodgers once. I don't. Don't know why. I don't remember it at all. And I'm really mad at myself for not remembering that. Like, I really am. I remember him playing for the Dodgers. I had a jersey of Russell Martin's when he played for the Pirates. So I remember those two teams very well. And I remember him being on Blue Jays as well. But I don't remember Dodgers. That's really upsetting to me. Anyway, four-time All-Star, Gold Glover, Silver Slugger, great career, solid amount of awards. 5,701 at-bats, 16 hits, 191 home runs, a career average of 248, 803 runs, 771 RBIs, and 101 stolen bases. I think Russell Martin is a great ball player. He was an unbelievable defensive catcher. I think he probably should have won at least 3 Gold Gloves, in my opinion. He was a really good ball player and a really, really good catcher. But I'm not going to get my vote this season. Brian McCann is next on the list. 15-year career, 2005 to 2019 for the Braves, Yankees, and the Astros. Brian McCann will be a Brave in my mind forever. I know he played for 2 other teams, but Brian McCann is a Brave through and through. The way he played, his attitude behind the plate, and his style of catching, it feels like the Atlanta Braves, and I loved it. But he's a seven-time All-Star, 2017 World Series champ, 6-time Silver Slugger. He had a great career at the plate, and he made a really, really good case for himself to get a vote here, but he was just outside. He was my number 12 guy, and I was between 10 and 11 and 12. I can be convinced very easily to flip Andrew Jones and somebody else, which we'll talk about later on. But Brian McCann had 6,067 at-bats, 1,590 hits, 282 home runs, career average of 262, 742 runs, 1,018 RBIs, and 25 stolen bases. Props to you, Brian McCann, showing that catchers can steal bases. Him and Russell. Good job, guys. Catchers don't get known for their speed, and it's very impressive when catchers get some stolen bases. I was the kind of catcher that was definitely not known for his speed. I remember my coach yelling at me as I'm I'm sitting on first to unhook the trailer as I'm running. I'm sure there was a couple times where some of my friends behind me could have had a triple or at least a double, and I'm just too slow. They're going to catch up to me, so they got to stop a base short of what they could have gotten. Sorry about that, fellas. Mainly my buddies Mason and Logan. They were real fast. Sorry about it, guys. Next up is my third official vote, and that is Dustin Pedroia, second baseman, Boston Red Sox, as much as I don't like to say that. 14-year career, all with the Red Sox, 2006 to 2019, or as Big Poppy calls him, Pee Wee, because Big Poppy apparently never learned to know Dustin Pedroia's name. Anyway, 2008 AL MVP, 2007 Rookie of the Year, four-time All-Star, which that should be higher, two-time World Series champion in 07 and 2013, four-time Gold Glover, and a Silver Slugger. I think that he should have gotten a couple more Silver Sluggers too. He was very good when it came to hitting. He had 6,031 at-bats, 1,805 hits, 140 home runs, and a career average of 299. That is unbelievable. 922 runs, 765 RBIs, and 138 stolen bases. Without a doubt, hands down, Hall of Famer in my book. Dustin Pedroia is great. And I think there is an argument to be made that he's one of the best, if not the best, second baseman of the 2000s and 2010s. He's really, really good. The next one is my fourth official pick, who I know for a fact he's never going to get into the Hall of Fame. But I vote for Andy Pettitte. I love Andy Pettitte. He was so dominant on the mound. 18-year career, all with the Yankees, 1995 to 2013. Three-time All-Star. That should be higher. 2001 ALCS MVP, five-time World Series champion in 96, 98, 99, 2000, and 2009. He pitched in 531 games. He started 521 games with a win-loss record of 256 and 153. That is unbelievable. He was so dominant. And a career ERA of 385. ERA is a little high for my liking, but again, 385 is not that high when you look at his career of work. It's really not. A lot of people think the high threes, fours are bad ERAs. And if you're looking at one season of work, yeah, it's probably not the best ERA. But over his career, that's a pretty good ERA, in my opinion. But that's why I'm giving him a vote. I think he was absolutely dominant. He shut down so many amazing, incredible hitters over his entire career. But there's a little thing called steroids that he used or was found to use. I'm not sure if he actually did use them 100%. He was found to use, so I guess he did. Either way, the steroid era guys, listen, when it comes to steroid era players, there are so many guys that were never caught that definitely used steroids 100%. So if everyone is on steroids, why does it matter? I don't think it matters. And I think there's a lot of younger baseball writers in the Baseball Writers Association who don't care that much about it because they were incredible for the game. And honestly, I think Andy Pettitte, with or without steroids, is putting up these numbers. I really do. I really think he is. So that's why I'm giving Andy Pettitte a vote. Next up is Hanley Ramirez, infielder, 15-year career, 2005 to 2019 with the Red Sox, Marlins, Dodgers, and Cleveland. 2006 Rookie of the Year, three-time All-Star, two-time Silver Slugger, 2009 batting title. And looking at his numbers here, I'm honestly shocked that he was only a three-time All-Star. Seriously, 6,349 at bats, 1,834 hits, 271 home runs, a career average of 289, 1,049 runs, 917 RBIs, 218 stolen bases. I think Hanley Ramirez is a really good infielder, really good ball player, had a very good long career, very successful. I just don't think he's going to be getting in this year. I don't. I wouldn't be giving him a vote this year if I were a writer and a voter. Probably wouldn't be voting for Hanley Ramirez this year, but I definitely think he will be getting into the Hall of Fame at some point over the next few years here. Next up is my fifth vote for the Hall of Fame. That is Manny Ramirez, outfielder, 19-year career, won 1993 to 2011 for Cleveland, Boston, the Los Angeles Dodgers, White Sox, and Tampa Bay Rays. 12-time All-Star, unbelievable. 2-time World Series champion in 04 and 07. 9-time Silver Slugger, 2004 World Series MVP, and the 2002 batting title. 8,244 at-bats, 2,574 hits, 555 home runs, a career average of 312. That is unbelievable. He was on base a lot, and he got a lot of hits, and he was very effective when he stepped into the box. 1,544 runs, 1,831 RBIs, and 38 stolen bases. And with 555 home runs, why bother stealing bases when you can just hit the ball over the fence? Manny Ramirez was dominant, and he was so good. I give him all the props in the world, even though he was a Boston Red Sox. Next up is pitcher Fernando Rodney, 17-year career, 2002 to 2019 for the Tigers, Angels, Rays, Mariners, Cubs, Padres, Marlins, Diamondbacks, Twins, A's, and Nationals. Wow. Played for a lot of teams. 3-time All-Star, 2019 World Series champion. He appeared in 951 games. That is a large workload. He had 327 saves, 48 wins, 71 losses, and a 3.8 ERA. He was another borderline guy. I think I ranked him at 13th or 14th. Like he was close to being picked here, but I don't think I'm going to give him a vote this year. I'm going to give him a vote next year for sure. I think he's going to end up getting into the Hall of Fame. I think when it comes to relievers, win-loss record really isn't that big of a deal. At least to me, it's not. I don't think win-loss record is as important to a relieving pitcher. Probably a starter for sure, but the saves, that's going to be very important for a reliever. I think ERA is going to be very important for a reliever. And relievers tend to have higher ERAs than starters do, just because they usually pitch less innings. And honestly, a 3.8 ERA is pretty darn low. It's pretty low. But moving on here to my next pick, I think this is 6. Yeah, the 6th pick is Alex Rodriguez, another guy who I know for a fact is never going to get into the Hall of Fame, ever. But he had a 22-year career, 1994 to 2016 for the Mariners, Rangers, and the Yankees, 3-time MVP, 14-time All-Star, 2009 World Series champion, 2-time Gold Glover, 10-time Silver Slugger, and the 1996 batting title, 10,566 at-bats, 3,115 hits, 696 home runs, a career average of 295, 2,021 runs, 2,086 RBIs, 329 stolen bases. This is a Hall of Fame stat line. I do not care what you say. This is the Baseball Hall of Fame. If players break MLB rules, that's the MLB's problem. This is the Baseball Hall of Fame, not the MLB Hall of Fame. End of story. I do not care about the roid use for any of the players, any of them at all. I really don't. Sorry if you disagree. And you're allowed to disagree. That's really okay. A lot of people disagree, and they think steroid era players need to be out and erased, all of it. I don't. This is a Hall of Fame stat line, 100%. And the amount of awards and recognition and the amount of times that Alex Rodriguez was just absolutely and unbelievably dominant. There's even plenty of argument to be made that Alex Rodriguez was more valuable and better of a ball player than Derek Jeter, who was nearly a unanimous Hall of Famer. There's an argument to be made for it. Unfortunately, A-Rod will probably never be in the Hall of Fame because of some small little grudge, in my opinion. It's just a small grudge. People, I think, need to let it go. It is what it is. He was unbelievable to the game of baseball. Next up is pitcher Francisco Rodriguez, 16-year career, 2002 to 2017 for the Angels, Mets, Brewers, Orioles, and the Tigers. Six-time All-Star, 2002 World Series champion. He had 948 games where he appeared, 437 saves, 52 wins, 53 losses, and a 2.86 ERA. Unbelievable stat line. I just don't think he's going to be one of the guys that gets in this year. I just don't. I think next year is going to be a big year for pitchers, if I'm being honest. And I'm almost 100% sure that 10 guys aren't going to get in this year. He's probably going to fall a couple votes short, but he's going to get a lot of votes. He was a very effective reliever. He pitched for a good amount of teams that were very good. And he was in the All-Star 6 out of 10 years that he was in the league. Good ball player. Definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I think he will be in the Hall of Fame. Just not getting one of my votes this year. The next guy that I'm giving a vote to, I believe this is 7, is Jimmy Rollins, shortstop for the Phillies, Dodgers, and the White Sox. 17-year career, 2000 to 2016. He was 2007 NL MVP, 3-time All-Star, 2008 World Series champion, 4-time Gold Glover, Silver Slugger, Roberto Clemente Award winner as well. He had 9,294 at-bats, 2,455 hits, 231 home runs, a career average of 264, 1,421 runs, 936 RBIs, and 470 stolen bases. I think Jimmy Rollins is going to be into the Hall of Fame strictly because of his defensive ability. He, much like Dustin Pedroia, has a right for the best shortstop of the 2000s. He was unbelievable and absolutely dominant defensively. I give so many props to that 2008 Phillies team. I'm sure that so many people were a little doubtful that they'd win the World Series. There's always doubters for every team. But I remember watching the 2008 World Series against the Rays from an ice rink because I was at hockey practice. And I remember sitting in the lobby watching the final game and listening to Harry Kalas make the final call. It was absolutely beautiful. And I think I may have given Jimmy Rollins a little bit of a vote just for sentimental value, but statistically solid at the plate. And if I'm being honest here, he was probably one of the best defensive shortstops or middle infielders in the game for a very, very long time. Check out the 7 Mountain Sports website for all things sports. 7mmsports.com has episodes of Sports Talk with Steve Jones, live social updates, and the full schedule of where you can listen to all of your Penn State sports action. Next up, we have CC Sabathia, pitcher, 19-year career, 2001 to 2019 for Cleveland, Milwaukee, and the New York Yankees. Absolutely dominant pitcher. Again, another guy who, whenever he took the mound, I would have put a lot of money on it that he was going to win. Definitely. He was unbelievable to watch pitch. But he has a 2007 Cy Young Award winner, which I think he probably should have more Cy Youngs than that. 6-time All-Star, 2009 World Series champion, 2009 ALCS MVP. He pitched in 261 games and started 560 of them. He had a win-loss record of 251 and 161. Very, very good. And a career ERA of 3.74. Absolutely dominant. I think CC Sabathia is one of the best pitchers to ever step foot on the mound. He is an unbelievable starter. He is super dominant. And I loved watching him pitch. Every single time it was his turn in the rotation, I was glued to the television. Next up is, without a doubt, the only for sure 100% first ballot Hall of Fame guy that I am sold on, if I'm being honest, and that is Ichiro Suzuki. Unreal. 19-year MLB career and a 9-year professional Japanese baseball career. Unreal. MLB career went from 2001 to 2019 for the Mariners, Yankees, and the Marlins. 2001 AL MVP and the 2001 Rookie of the Year. I'll say that again. 2001 AL MVP and the 2001 Rookie of the Year. That alone is a first ballot Hall of Famer. But to add on to his resume, he was a 10-time All-Star, 10-time Gold Glover, 3-time Silver Slugger, 2-time batting title champion 01 and 04, 2007 All-Star Game MVP. Unreal. And his MLB stat line is crazy. MLB stat line is 9,934 at-bats, 3,089 hits, 117 home runs, a 3.11 batting average, 1,420 runs, 780 RBIs, 509 stolen bases. That stat line alone is first ballot Hall of Fame ready to go, without a doubt. Immortalize Ichiro Suzuki. But just for fun, let's add in his Japanese Professional League statistics, because he is probably the greatest baseball player of all time when we add in these stats. 14,832 at-bats, 4,367 hits, 235 home runs, a career average of 322, 2,078 runs, 1,309 RBIs, and 708 stolen bases. If Ichiro Suzuki is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, a unanimous Hall of Famer, I think we need new baseball writers. I really do. We need new voters. If Ichiro Suzuki is not unanimous when it comes time for voting, if he's not the unanimous Hall of Fame selection, I will be absolutely blown away. 99% of voters vote him in. I will be upset. 100% of baseball voters need to put Ichiro Suzuki on their ballot. I will stand firm in that stance. Next up is Troy Tulowitzki, shortstop, 13-year career from 2006 to 2019 for the Rockies, Blue Jays, and the Yankees. 5-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glover, 2-time Silver Slugger, 4,804 at-bats, 1,391 hits, 225 home runs, a 290 career batting average, 762 runs, 780 RBIs, and 57 stolen bases. Very, very good defensive shortstop. I believe Troy was. Tulo definitely, I think, struggled a little bit at the bat, at the plate from time to time throughout his entirety of his career. I remember him most with the Rockies. I think if he goes into the Hall of Fame, which he probably will, I think it's going to take him a couple rotations of voters to get himself into the Hall of Fame, if I'm being honest. But I think eventually Troy Tulowitzki does get into the Hall of Fame. Chase Utley, second baseman, another guy that's up there for best second baseman defensively of the 2000s, in my opinion. 16-year career, 2003 to 2018 for the Phillies and the Dodgers. 6-time All-Star, 2008 World Series champion, and a 4-time Silver Slugger. He had 6,857 at-bats, 1,885 hits, 259 home runs, a 275 career average, 1,103 runs, 1,025 RBIs, and 154 stolen bases. A little bit better at the plate, average-wise, than Jimmy Rollins was, but I think that middle infield of that 2008 and mainly the whole early 2000s to late 2000s Phillies team was centered around the abilities of Jimmy Rollins. Without Jimmy Rollins, I don't think the Phillies win that I almost said Super Bowl. Man, shows you where my head is at right now because we're in the middle of the NFL playoffs. But I think without Jimmy Rollins, that 2008 World Series does not go Philadelphia's way. The pitching was dominant throughout that entire series, and they had, without a doubt, the best closer at the time. I think overall, Mo is better than Cliff Lee. I will take Mariano Rivera over Cliff Lee any day. But in 2008, Cliff Lee was the best closer in baseball, without a doubt, in my mind. Not Cliff Lee, Brad Lidge. I don't know why I was saying Cliff Lee. Probably because he's an absolutely dominant starter. I loved watching Cliff Lee pitch too. And in 2009, Cliff Lee is the only pitcher who was able to beat the Yankees in that World Series. The 2 wins that the Phillies got in the 2009 World Series were on the back of Cliff Lee. But anyway, Brad Lidge, absolute stud closer. And in 2008, Brad Lidge was definitely the best closer in all of baseball. But yeah, I don't have Chase Utley. To get back to Chase Utley here, I don't have Chase Utley on my ballot, but he will be in the Hall of Fame probably. I'm gonna guess 3 years. I don't think he's gonna be in this year, but he's close. He definitely is close. Next up, we have Omar Vizquel, shortstop, third baseman, 24-year career from 1989 to 2012 with the Mariners, Cleveland, the Giants, Rangers, White Sox, and the Blue Jays. He's a 3-time All-Star, which feels low for an 11-time Gold Glover. If you win the Gold Glove 11 times, you probably should have made the All-Star game a couple more. That's why I kind of have a little bit of a problem with fans voting. Because a lot of times fans that aren't like stat nerds like me will oftentimes just pick their favorite players. I sometimes pick my favorite players, but most of my favorite players are also like leading or close to leading in a statistic. Right now, my favorite player is probably JT Realmuto. I love catchers. Catchers are awesome. And JT is one of the best catchers in the National League for sure. And another one of my favorite players, even though I'm a Yankee fan, is Adley Rutschman. Adley Rutschman is so good, man. He's definitely there's definitely an argument to be made that Adley Rutschman is the best catcher in Major League Baseball right now. He's so good. And he is one of the best defensive catchers that I've ever seen. He is unbelievable. Anyway, back to Omar. 3-time All-Star, 11-time Gold Glover, 10,586 at-bats, 2,877 hits, 80 home runs, a 272 batting average, 1,445 runs, 951 RBIs, and 404 stolen bases. He's got to get in. I'm not giving him a vote because I'm already at 10, and one of them is up for debate. But Omar's going to get in. I think he's definitely a Hall of Famer. He's had such a long career, and 11 Gold Gloves that's impressive. His defensive stats are unbelievable, and we could dive into them, but there's just a lot, and it gets a little more confusing. I don't want to dive into all the super stat nerd stuff quite yet. Eventually, we'll get into all that stuff, but for right now, I'm trying to just welcome people in and show my love for the game of baseball. And hopefully, as we all grow as a community together and the Scorebook story saga, I guess you could say, grows, and we can have more fun and dive more into things if that's the road we want to go down and be super stat nerdy and get into everything. But one stat I don't like is WAR. I hate WAR. I think it's made up and it makes no sense. Anyway, back to Omar. I think he will be a Hall of Famer. I'm not going to be voting for him this year, unfortunately. Next up is Billy Wagner. 16-year career, 1995 to 2010 for the Astros, Phillies, Mets, Red Sox, and the Braves. He's a 7-time All-Star, appeared in 853 games, 422 saves, 47 wins, 40 losses, and a 2.31 ERA. That is impressive. A dominant reliever, and he is definitely close to the top of my list. But just missed out because David Wright is next on the list, and he is One of the guys I am debating with when it comes to who my 10th vote should go to, I'm between Andrew Jones, who we talked about earlier, and David Wright. 14-year career, 2004 to 2018, all with the Mets. 7-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glover, 2-time Silver Slugger, 5,998 at bats, 1,777 hits, 242 home runs, and a career average of 296. 949 runs, 970 RBIs, 196 stolen bases. This is a tough one. I am not a fan of the Mets. I've had a bad taste in my mouth for Mets players for a long time. Don't know why. I think it's just growing up outside of Philadelphia, and Phillies fans don't like the Mets. That's probably why. And also, I'm a Yankee fan. And Yankees are the New York baseball team to me. But David Wright, how do you deny David Wright a vote for the Hall of Fame? I don't know. He's really good. He was an unbelievable third baseman. He was so good defensively, made very little errors, very little mental mistakes, made good throws wherever he had to go with the ball. He was a great ball player. A lot of fun to watch, as much as I don't like to admit it, and he hit the ball very, very well. So between David Wright and Andrew Jones, oh man, I think I'm going to go with David Wright. He has a better batting average. Andrew Jones is probably a better fielder through that time period because they both played through pretty much a good chunk of the same time frame. I think I'm going to have to go with David Wright for my final vote for the Hall of Fame now that I'm actually looking at it. I'm going to think on it, and we'll review the last potential Hall of Famer, and then I'll go back into David Wright versus Andrew Jones a little bit. Maybe looking over Ben Zobrist's stats will help me with a little bit of a reset. Ben Zobrist, second base, shortstop, outfielder for the Rays, the A's, the Royals, and the Cubs. 14-year career, 2006 to 2019. He's a 3-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion in 2015 with Kansas City and 2016 with the Cubs. He also was a 2016 World Series MVP. That was an unbelievable series, and Ben Zobrist did absolutely dominate in 2016. He had 5,880 at bats, 1,566 hits, 167 home runs, a career average of 266, 884 runs, 768 RBIs, and 116 stolen bases. I think he's going to get into the Hall of Fame. I just don't think it'll be this year. Much like a number of these guys. So many of the guys on this list, without a doubt to me, are Hall of Famers. I really do believe that. There's so many great ball players that have stepped foot on the field at some point throughout their career and just blown anybody who's watching baseball away. There's so many guys, and the list is way longer than 28 dudes. I really believe that. Now, I guess I have to pick my 10th guy. I know in all of our socials I picked Andrew Jones. I know I did that. But I'm really doubting it now as I'm looking at the complete stat lines for these guys. I don't know. You know what? I'm keeping both of them. They're both going in my opinion. I'm giving both of them a vote, and I think I need to just pick somebody else to get rid of. And I think it's going to be Bobby Abreu. Bobby Abreu, you're not getting my vote anymore, unfortunately. Sorry, man. I really do love you, and I know you're a really good ball player. But Andrew Jones, I think, is a little bit better of an outfielder than you. He has a lot more Gold Gloves. You both have one Silver Slugger. Andrew Jones has been in the All-Star game more than Bobby Abreu. Bobby Abreu has a better average, but Andrew Jones has more home runs. Bobby Abreu has more stolen bases. This is so hard. Picking this last one. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going with that. David Wright, I'm giving you a vote. Andrew Jones, I'm giving you a vote. All right, so my 10 votes are Felix Hernandez, pitcher, Dustin Pedroia, second base, Red Sox, Andy Pettit, pitcher, Yankees, Manny Ramirez, outfielder for several teams, Alex Rodriguez, shortstop, third base, Jimmy Rollins, shortstop, CC Sabathia, pitcher, Ichiro Suzuki, 100% outfielder, and David Wright, third baseman for the Mets. That is what I am going to go with when it comes to Hall of Fame. So those are my 10 picks, and I want to know who your 10 picks are. You get 10 votes. Pretend you're a baseball writer. Pretend you're in the Baseball Writers Association of America. You get 10 picks. Let me know in the comments of this YouTube video, or if you're listening to this on an audio format, you can send me a DM on the Seven Mountains Sports Instagram, Facebook, or X accounts. Let me know who you think the 10 guys on this list, on this ballot, should be to be in the Hall of Fame. Agree with me, disagree with me. I want to hear from you. You also can let me know directly at my own Instagram or X page, which is at AD_on air. I will be glad to have conversations with you and talk baseball, because that's what this show is all about. I'm Alec. This is Scorebook Stories. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you next week where we dive into the future of the MLB.